Hello, this is the G.E.M Podcast. Emiliano, Max, and I are here to talk about the analysis of the hate you give and the effects of injustice and inequality in society. This novel, The Hate You Give, is about a teenage girl named Star who saw her best friend get shot by a cop. After this event, she was jumpy and nervous because this was a traumatic event for her. She chooses to speak up against the officer and go to a grand jury to try and get the officer 115 indicted. The jury comes to a decision not to indict the officer, who starts a fire under Star and the people of her community to riot and stand up for what they believe in. The Hate You Give is an accurate portrayal of how racism is affecting people in the 21st century and how the impact is on the Black community. As Angie Thomas stated in the novel, The Hate You Give, being two different people is so exhausting. I've taught myself to speak with two different voices and only say certain things around certain people. I've mastered it. As much as I say I don't have to choose which Star I am with Chris, maybe without realizing it, I have to an extent. Part of me feels like I can't exist around people like him. Star is saying this because she is explaining how she has to be different around other people than her boyfriend because of the color she is, and she is afraid if she says the wrong thing that it will hurt her. According to Thomas on page 20, when I was 12, my parents had two talks with me. One was the usual birds and bees. The other talk was about what to do if a cop stopped me. Star is saying that because of where she is at, and as a young Black girl, she had to learn things that could potentially happen to her. As Angie Thomas indicated on page 12 in The Hate You Give, I've seen it happen over and over again. A Black person gets killed just for being Black, and all hell breaks loose. I've tweeted tip hashtags, reblogged pictures on Tumblr, and signed every petition out there. I always said that if I saw it happen to somebody, I would have the loudest voice, making sure the world knew what went down. Now I am that person, and I'm too afraid to speak. Star explains how Khalil's death and the lack of justice is not an anomalous event in Garden Heights, nor in America in general. According to Angie Thomas on page 35, Williamson Star doesn't use slang. If a rapper would say it, she doesn't say it, even if her white friends do. Slang makes them cool. Slang makes her hood. Williamson Star holds her tongue when people piss her off so nobody will think she's the angry Black girl. Williamson Star is non-confrontational. Basically, Williamson Star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto. This is showing the struggle Star has when trying to balance both Williamson Star and herself. She wants to blend in and make sure that there isn't anything to make her seem of what is considered normal. This has an effect on her individual self, and this is a form of oppression because she can't be her true self without feeling embarrassed. As Angie Thomas stated on page 178 in the novel The Hate You Give, everybody wants to talk about how Khalil died, I say. But this isn't about how Khalil died. It's about the fact that he lived. His life mattered. Khalil lived. Star at this point is frustrated with the way that things are going. A white officer shot her friend, and yet he got away with it. He didn't even feel remorseful, and she can't stand this racism anymore because she knows it's not going to stop with Khalil. There will be more people who will fall the way he did. And if she doesn't speak up, then nothing is ever going to change. This has an effect on who she is because she is dealing with all of this pressure as a kid, trying to show and tell the world what really went down that night. But the fact is, because he was white, he was able to get away with it. So, you may be wondering, why does all of this matter anyway? This matters because this is not just a problem that is being faced within the book, but in the world right now. Racism is still an issue today because people are being judged based on not knowing the person, but what they look like or where they came from. Also, people have to act differently around certain people because they think that they can't be themselves, which is harming their self-identity. Okay, now that we have reached the end of our podcast, we just want to say thank you so much for your time and for listening to our podcast. And we hope you have a good rest of your day.